Hello everyone, this video concludes Inktober 2024 and most likely my last Inktober challenge. I think I've been doing that for 8 years. I think it's my 8th challenge. And while I've had a lot of fun, I've experimented with different techniques, with different tools. I've learned a lot. I think it's time to free up my Octobers to do other things now. Then again, I've said that for the last few years, and come September, I always get the itch, so we'll see what happens next year. But for now, I'm thinking this is going to be it. So for my last experiment with inks this year, as you might already know, I decided to make my own ink, which was a lot of fun. So I went for a few walks in the woods, and I gathered some acorns, some oak galls. Actually, I made a video about it. If you're interested, I'll put the link in the description box. And I tried. I didn't have a specific recipe. I had the ingredients but no measures, so I kind of eyeballed everything, and I decided to basically use the oak galls ink for all my drawings. And I had made a couple batches. The first one was this. So one has iron sulfate. Basically, I put the oak galls in water. I mushed them. I put them in water, let them sit for a few days. Then just took the water, the juice of it, through a sieve. Added some iron sulfate to darken the ink, the water. So you have here with here and without here. And then I added a binder, which was gum arabic, to make it flow better on the paper, to make it act more like watercolors. And then you can't really tell on this page, and I will tell you why in a minute, but I thought the ink wasn't very dark, even though you need to know that as it dries on the paper, it gets darker. But I thought it was not dark enough, so I decided to do a second batch and add more iron sulfate. And it was really nice. I really liked the color. It was like a blue, black. It was really pretty. I really like that. But what I realized later on, and you'll see through my drawings, is that as they dried, the black turned more into some kind of brownish green, which is not a bad color. I kind of like it, but it didn't stay black. And after a while, I realized that I had probably put too much iron sulfate, which is a green powder, and as a result, then it just turned green later on. So in the last few days, I decided to take my little bottle of the oak galls ink that didn't have any iron sulfate in it, and add only a little bit of sulfate, just enough to turn the ink black, but no more. And when I put the ink on the paper, it was a little light. It turned nice and dark, and it stayed black. It hasn't oxidized at all. So I think I found, more or less, I haven't measured anything, so it was kind of guessing, but my last few drawings stayed black, which I'm really happy about. So now I've got a black ink that stays black. Alright, so now I'm going to show you all the drawings for Inktober. The day one is a backpack, and you see how green it's turned. Pretty fun. So I used a G-nib with a nib holder for all those drawings, and the G-nib is a nice flexible nib, which worked well. And I also used brushes for the washes. That's basically the technique. I sketched everything first with a red pencil, and then lined everything with my nib, just dipping it into the ink. I did some hatches, and then added more shading with the brush, dipping it in the ink. That's basically the technique that I did. So this is day 2, discover. So this is a discovery, or my take on it. This is day 3, boots. So this one didn't change colors much because I used I think I used one of the acorn inks that didn't have much sulfate in it, so it was a little pinkish. So it's just barely, I don't know, I'm not quite sure how much I put in there. I don't remember. But you can see there's still some brown here, so not as much. Day 4 is exotic. I love dragon fruits. I think they're really cool to draw. It was kind of hard not to add the beautiful red of the skin, but I only had red ink, so that's it. Day 5 is binoculars. It's a little wonky, but yeah, it was hard to do the foreshortening with the round binoculars. Plus, I ran out of room here, so yeah, that's okay. Day 6 is Trek. The first thing that came to my mind is Star Trek, so I had to draw the Star Trek Enterprise. Found a really cool picture of it online. For some of the white here, I used a white ink from a fountain pen that I have, and then I thought that it was too tedious to just go like this, so I ended up using a little bit of white gouache that I put on a brush, and I just spattered the paint all over for the stars. Day 7 is a passport. Pretty green also. Day 8 is hike. And I put a lot of ink. I think I've got 2 or 3 washes here, so could be the reason why it didn't turn as green. The lighter ink has changed colors a little bit, but I think adding layers keeps it dark, maybe like a dark green. Day 9 is sun. Day 10 is nomadic. This one I had a really hard time. I just used, I think it was the acorn ink without the iron sulfate. I wanted to make it all brown, and it looked very pale and it didn't have much depth. So I used the black to line it, and it looked terrible. It was just not good. So I ended up using a very fine micron to do the hatching and all, and to try to save the whole drawing. It looks a bit better this way, but it was pretty bad. Day 11 is snack. I love chocolate chip cookies. I think it's my first batch of Oak Goals ink for this one, and I don't think it had as much iron sulfate as the second batch that I used for the previous drawings. It's changed colors a tiny bit, but not too much. Same for day 12, remote. This one is a little wonky as well. Yeah, I think this should have been a little bit more this way, I guess. Day 13, horizon. And so you'll see most of these now aren't as green as the first ones, but they have changed colors for sure. Day 14, Rome. So of course it's a bison, not a buffalo, but that's where the buffalo roams. So Day 15 is a guidebook with a hiker again. Day 16 is grungy, and I just thought about the music movement back in the 90s, I believe. So I just made like a grungy, broken electric guitar. Day 17 is journal. This one was a little messy as well, because I put my washes over my lines before the ink was totally dry, so I kind of messed up those lines, and it's not nice and sharp, so I guess it's okay, but not the best. Day 18 is drive, a simple silhouette one. I like doing the silhouette ones because they're pretty easy and quick. Day 19, I think this might be my favorite, ridge. It was just fun to delicately draw the mountain ridge. And then and then add the shading. I really like this one. I think this one and the Trek one, the Star Trek Enterprise, they're my two favorite, I think. Now let's go to one of my least favorite. Is Day 20 Uncharted. Of course, it's character from the video game. I didn't do the best job on that one. It's just, especially this side. I think his chin should be a little longer. Yeah, I messed it up. But oh well. That's practice. That's why you do that in a sketchbook, to practice. Day 21, Rhinoceros. Speaks for itself. Day 22, Camp. So a camp in New England, or at least northern New England, is really more like a cabin, a remote cabin, often in the woods or on a lake. Often one that is not insulated, might not even have any electricity. It's usually a place where people go in the summertime to enjoy nature, kayak, or swim in a lake or something like that. So that's why I drew a cabin for this one rather than a tent or something like that. For day 23, Rust, I had to add color because it's Rust, you know. Day 24, Expedition. For this one, I did a master's study. I'm not quite sure who drew this. And I used a fountain pen on which I put a flexible nib. And obviously, it's a different ink. I didn't want to put my own ink in the fountain pen because I think it would have clogged it. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it would have. So I used, I think it's a D. Atramentis black ink. Document black ink. But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing this style of drawing. Day 25, a scarecrow. Day 26, a camera. So I decided to draw an old-fashioned camera. Day 27, a road. I think it's very close to drive, you know. Nothing special on this one. Day 28. So this is the first drawing that I did with my third batch, and it's still black. So I'm super happy. So jumbo. So I decided to draw a jumbo jet for day 28. Day 29 is a navigator. I thought it was going to be a pain in the butt to draw this one, but I actually quite enjoyed it. And I did not do any washes for this one, just cross-hatching. It was fun. It's probably not the right proportions, but I had to try to make it fit on this page format and still be big enough. But I think you can tell what it is. Day 30, a violin. It's a little sketchier. I went pretty fast on that one. And day 31, landmark. And that's the last one. This one took me quite a while, but it was quite fun. And I was not able to erase all of the red pencil. I probably went a little bit too hard on that, but it's okay. It looks fine like that. So that's it. It was fun, but I'm glad it's over. Now I can go back to painting stuff, experimenting with other mediums, and not be tied down with posting a drawing every day. So thank you everyone for checking my drawings every day on Instagram and checking out my videos as well. I hope you like them all. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to support this channel and you're feeling very generous, you can always click on the thanks button right next to the share button. Thank you all for stopping by. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.